Buona serata, my little piccinines. How's everyone? I'm good. It's Wednesday. We're here. I've just gotten in from work a little bit ago. It was a really good night at the restaurant. It was kind of chill and quiet, and we had, like, today was the first day where it was like fall-y enough to where it felt brisk, and I was a little cold this morning and I almost turned on the heater, but I didn't. I opened the windows. But yeah, it was a little chilly at night at work, and oh my gosh, like, this is post-work hair, guys. This is what I get when there's not like humidity and I'm not sweating. Like, I actually have hair that doesn't look like it came out of a shower drain. So exciting. Big wins, big wins. So grateful. Much to be grateful for. All right, let's talk. So I'm laughing. I came into work tonight and one of my coworkers was like, Liz, what the hell is going on out there? It is so chaotic. And I was like, oh yeah, that. And my other coworker who's like obsessed with astrology and like charts and stuff, she was like, oh yeah, just most of our planets are in retrograde. We're like, the whole universe is inside out. That's what's going on. But on top of like Mercury's retrograde culminating, I dropped my phone into the toilet today. Yay! It still works. It's just making like this weird like shotgun cocking sound when I press my home button. We'll just go with it. New security system. Yeah, so yeah, Mercury is coming into its climax. It's going direct on Sunday. So that has been, doing its thing. And then all these others, I can't even go into it all. But on top of the chaos, that all of this other stuff, the chaos that we're feeling that has like been a sudden surge over the weekend came in with the new moon. The new moon in Libra is the new moon. It falls on Rosh Hashana, or Rosh Hashana falls on the new moon of Libra. And Rosh Hashana, whether you're Jewish or not, it doesn't matter. From a mystical lens, on Rosh Hashana, there is like an open portal where energy is just flowing through, right? And it's this like raw creator energy, and it is so powerful. It's like this nuclear surge, like all of a sudden like filling up our battery banks, and we're just so charged and we don't know what to do with it all, right? So all of this raw, unadulterated, unfiltered energy of like pure like source has just like suddenly been injected into humanity, whether they were like asking for it or not. And so people are like sort of crawling up the walls inside of themselves, and they don't know what to do with all of this energy. People are edgy, they're like anxious, they're confused, they're like jumpy, in a hurry, impatient, sensitive. It's all really raw and really turned up right now. And so what needs to happen is we need to ground this energy. And so, if you have like a good, like go out and walk in the woods and take a long walk, or go like take a yoga class, or if some people like running. I like running. That helps me ground energy when I've just got like so much I don't know what to do with it, and helps me quiet my mind. If you can walk barefoot on the ground, that is a really good practice. If you want to like deep clean your house, that would be good too, because we also need to, in tandem with our reading today, we need to be quieting our mind. And so to be able to burn energy while you're doing something that settles your mind and lets it go into a trance is amazing. So cleaning would be good. Also, if you can take a salt bath, or maybe a couple over the course of a couple of days, that will help ground this energy in. But also in a less practical way, or actually in a more, they're both practical ways, I guess. We also need to be like, not only do we do these mundane things to ground the energy, but we embody the energy and ground it in an embodying way where we like solidify it as part of ourselves. When we come up against little tests and intuitive hits through the next 8 days, so there's a period after Rosh Hashana that lasts for 8 days leading up to Yom Kippur. And this is when everything that, you know, all the light and the downloads and everything that just came through, it's like almost like pouring a concrete foundation that needs to then set, right? So we've been given this like new soul, and it's basically like a newborn. And so over the next, you know, 8 days, this newborn soul, you know, has that little soft spot in its crown, and it's very vulnerable and very tender, and so it's very sensitive. And so we can be really reactive this week because we're so tender and sensitive, and we're almost like a newborn, and everything is very jolting and shocking right now. And so what we want to do is avoid our default urge to be reactive. One thing that is going to help embody all of this energy is to be able to meet familiar situations in up-leveled ways, like more like your higher self would. So the whole thing about Rosh Hashana and this like new start and having this rebirth of the soul is to be able to really set aside the old patterns and old ways of doing things. But we're so used to doing those and playing them out that they've become like our default setting, like our automatic, like reflex response. So we want to be very, very slow this week, very slow to act, very slow to speak. And we want to be very mindful not to just react the way that we always have or fall back into these familiar roles and patterns. We want to really decide with our consciousness, with all the wisdom and experience that we've gained up until now, and with this new sense of awakened awareness and empowerment and consciousness, okay, using my free will, I actually see this pattern coming forward, and I'm going to stop myself before I do it, and I'm going to say, okay, how does the person that I want to be now, this life that I want to create, how is this new me needing to show up right now in order to have the thing that I'm trying to call in or create? What would be an aligned action? Because this is how we use our free will, right? Certain things are already laid out for us in our fate, right? They're planned before we come to Earth, and then we agreed upon them before we came here. But there are other things that we get to use our free will for, you know, and we're expected to do that. We're expected to claim the inheritance of our kingdom and rule and reign over our mind, our feelings, our perceptions, right? We want to have affinity with the light. And so having affinity with the light will help vibrate with all this new energy instead of it being dissonant, right? So the more we have affinity with the light, the more all of this new energy will kind of like create harmony, but like enhance the power that we already have. So by doing that, we need to be more like the Creator in being eternal, meaning we're not wavering, we're not fluctuating, we're being consistent, and we're being of a cause consciousness and not effect consciousness, meaning that we know that we can create our reality and we are co-creating with divine, and that really we are just empty channels for source energy to come through. You know, we're not really, we don't have power of our own, we don't have merit of our own, but we're channels, right, in order to let this energy flow through. So when we know that, and we can just allow ourselves to get out of the way, and we have that kind of understanding and certainty of that, it's like, it's not up to chance. It's just that this is an energetic system. These are laws, spiritual laws that play out. And if we, you know, understand how they play out, then we have a lot more certainty about it, right? So we are understanding that we create our reality, and we're not reacting to every, you know, circumstance that happens around us, and we're not victims of circumstance anymore. Like sometimes things happen beyond our control, but we decide that we control how we perceive and how we show up and how we meet it, and how the situation can then unfold depending on which version of us is showing up, right? So this week, familiar patterns might circle back around, and we're going to be given a chance to show up and actually try to play out the situation as our higher self. We're trying to break in these new shoes of this newer up-leveled us, because the cycle that we're starting is not just like a new chapter kind of thing. It's like this whole big new story. We're in a new script, new movie, right? Sequel. And so our card today was listening. And so I feel that this week there is a strong theme around reflecting on all of the insights and downloads that you may have gotten over the past few days, or the lessons that you're starting to see and interact with. Really reflect on that and listen to what it's teaching you, where it's leading you next. I think that it's important that we get really quiet and still, or at least still and quiet our mind, so that we can listen deeply within ourselves, past the mind chatter, past the ego noise, past even, sometimes the turbulence of the surface waters of our heart. Those can be deceiving. But if we go deeper, even deeper, all the way through the heart, into the soul, and listen to see what is the soul yearning for? What is it craving? Where is it asking us to dream? Where is it calling us to go? What is it asking us for that it needs, that it's not getting? Or what is it pushing us to do? Think about that, because the soul is the thing that's like, it's pushing you towards the ultimate satisfaction, and it's tugging at you so that you can feel the depths of your dissatisfaction, because it wants you to feel the contrast of what you're not getting by not going to where it wants you to go, or do what it wants you to do. Or there's like this grand expression of you that the soul is trying to lead you to play out, right? It's like the ultimate version of your life. But we're the ones that get in the way of that, because we're pulled to and fro by our responsibilities in life. Things happen that we don't expect. We have setbacks. We have, things don't work out the way that we think they are. So, things get difficult, right? And we feel like we fall off track, and then we get lost, and we feel like we're off path, right? And so what we need to do is make it a habit on a daily basis, but a regular practice of just staying in touch with our soul every day, so that we know, like, hey, do I feel good about my life? Do I feel good about who I'm being, who I'm showing up as, who I'm becoming? Like, do I feel good about, who I'm surrounded by, and, the relationships that I have? Like, do I feel good about the work I'm doing in the world? Do I want to do more? Do I feel like, I'm satisfied? Like, what's going on? It's just good to know. There's not always something wrong. Sometimes things are wonderful. And just recently, I was just thinking, man, like, I feel really great. And it's a shame and a waste that we don't stop to think about that more. Like, we're just like trying to survive. Like the people from The Walking Dead, we're just like, oh, they ate grandma. It's like, just keep going. Like, even like the good things, we're like, just keep going. It's like, no, stop, be present. This is life. This is it. Like, enjoy it, savor it, stop and smell the roses, right? So not only do I feel like we need to really get in touch with our soul this week, because it's got a lot of exciting direction and inspiration for us for this grand new journey. It's like, yeah, like this is what we want to do next. Now that we've offloaded all this crap and gotten out of the way, like I have a plan. All right, listen to me. We're going to do this. So listen to your soul. But also, I think that there was a double-sided meaning to this message today. And I actually shuffled the tarot cards and nothing came out. Everything, it was just like this. Just listen. Listen, Linda, listen, just listen. There might be someone in your circle who needs someone to listen to them. And I don't think that we really take listening seriously enough. It's so unsatisfying when you try to talk to people, and this is like most people in life these days. So we all go around like having this like strong desire to be heard, to be seen, to be understood. And yet everyone we're talking to is totally distracted. They're usually thinking about what they want to say next. Not even commenting on what we're saying. Just, oh, I don't want to forget to tell you all about me, you know? So we never even stop to like take in what someone is saying, let alone like deeply try to understand them or press for more information or question deeper, right? But have you ever been in the presence of someone who actually has a patient ear and they listen to you and they look at you when you're talking and they're not distracted? And then they want to know more and they ask you more about what you're saying, and then they kind of reflect back what you're saying, and you're like, oh, you just expressed to me what I just said to you. And if you get to you get it all out, you get to tell your whole thing or your whole story, it's so cathartic and so healing, because you're like, wow, no one has ever let me just say it all without cutting me off or changing the subject or shutting me down or arguing with me or trying to fix it or telling me what they think about it. You know what I mean? Like, as a person who is kind of, it's like my job and my calling to be the listener, I don't feel very heard very often. I rarely feel like I get to say anything half the time. So I understand the importance and the depth and like the healing quality of being heard. And so I feel like we either need to talk to someone and be heard, like for real, or we're going to be the one that needs to be present and ready to be the person to listen. But if somebody approaches you this week, just try to keep an open heart and an open mind, and let it breathe. Give them time. Don't push or rush someone. Just let them get out what they need to. Seek to understand them more. Ask questions. But like, not to challenge them, but to allow them to feel like they're allowed to elaborate even more if they want to. But I think that it's important to let someone offload and be witnessed and be seen and be heard. And I think that it is also important, if you like really, really, really need to get something off of your chest, that it's important that you find a person who you trust to do this with. Not everybody is good to talk to. Some people have really shitty perceptions and perspectives and really bad advice, or they'll be really negative and like shit all over your hopes, you know, or who knows? Like, not everybody is like good to go like get counsel from. So, you know, maybe get in touch with someone that you feel close to, that you trust, that you see eye to eye with, or, you know, who's at least not worse off than you. Someone who cares about you and understands you. Sometimes it's nice to talk to a stranger, honestly, because then you can like tell them everything and it doesn't matter. She'll never see him again. But yeah, and just use your intuition, but choose wisely who you talk to. And then maybe just let them know, like, hey, like, I really need to talk. Like, I just need to be heard. I need to get these things off my chest. I don't even so much need you to counsel me as I just need someone to let me get this off of my chest too. But yeah, I think that would be very helpful. I just think that the message was very, very clear. It was like, listen. And I think it's listen to the depths of yourself for instruction and intuition about what to do and how to create what you're being led towards, how to get from A to B, all that space in between. I think it's important that we learn how to become really good listeners for other people, but be ready, because somebody might approach you and need you to listen to them, and you should not resist the urge to talk at them and make it about you telling them what you think, and just be more present for them. Be a compassionate, empathic, sympathetic person. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all for today. I think it's all about being honest, communicating if you need to with someone, being heard, or being a good listener. And we all of us need this week to listen into the depths of our soul, because we just got a new soul, and this soul is fresh from heaven, hot, fresh out the oven. And so it's got a lot of enthusiasm and good insight as to how we can align with the future us that we dream about becoming, right? And be that, and start being that now. Let me think. Oh, also, Yom Kippur is from sundown, I don't know, Monday and Tuesday? Tuesday and Wednesday. So October 4th sundown to October 5th sundown. And Yom Kippur is a fast that seals in all of the energy that we drew in from Rosh Hashana, and sort of sets our blessings for the year. It's the seeds that we plant for the harvest for the next 6 or 8 months. So it's really important to finish out the next 8 days. Let that foundation settle. Try not to short circuit. Try not to go off on anybody. Try not to do evil tongue, right? Which is gossip or saying things that have negative consequences about, someone. Being negative, complaining, run in your mouth. Don't run your mouth. Let's see what else. Don't evil eye. Don't be jealous or coveting. Anything that you can do to just be perfect saint all week. Do what you can. And just try to maintain and try to survive it. And then fast. So the fast on Yom Kippur, I actually am going to be streaming the whole ritual and all that from the Kabbalah Center. But if you're not gonna tune into a ritual or anything, it would even help just to fast. So you don't want to drink any kind of liquid, no water, no food, from sundown October 4th to sundown October 5th. You can't eat any food. You can't bathe. You can't wear lotion or moisturizers or perfumes. You can't brush your teeth. You cannot wear leather. You basically have to deprive yourself of all the comforts, right? And I think that you should probably wear white. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else in the fast. Oh yeah, you're not supposed to work. So if you can abstain from work, that would be good. And that's all I can think of so far. I mean, there's this whole 12 hours, I'm sure, of prayers and songs, but I don't know how to go into all that. But basics is don't eat, don't drink, don't wear leather, don't do all that stuff, don't wear makeup. All right, you guys, I hope that you have a wonderful day tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow night. Be good. Bye.